host a podcast called Happy, Sad, Confused. But tonight, I can say live from New York, it's Sunday night. It's so damn close. But it is opening weekend for Saturday night. You guys are people of discerning taste. Thank you so much for coming out. Give us, please, one more round of applause for this amazing movie. What an insane love letter to this institution that is SNL, and what an amazing accomplishment. I think you'll agree. It's kind of a miracle, this cast, how they were able to recreate some icons. We have a bunch of chairs here. We're going to fill them up with some amazing actors who have done fantastic work. So give it up for Mr. Matt Wood, aka John Belushi. He's in the house. Come on up, Matt. Corey Michael Smith somehow is also Chevy Chase. Come on, Corey, come on down. Gilda Radner is here, aka Ella Hunt. Ella, come on down. And Jacqueline Carlin, as portrayed by Kaya Gerber, is with us. Kaya, come on down. This is a long, dramatic walk. I apologize, but it gives you an excuse to cheer more. Give it up, guys, for this amazing cast. Dramatic entrance from Kaya Gerber. Here we are. Congratulations, everybody. It's opening weekend. I hope you guys are enjoying it.
We are.
So, okay, first of all, show of hands, who was a super fan of SNL coming into this? Yes? Okay, we got two.
What qualifies as a... Hello? Why does it do this when I tap it but not? Can anyone hear me?
Can we hear Corey?
Do you want
Anybody?
mine? Can you hear us? Oh, that sounds like it's happening.
We can share.
No, okay. Well, I was just gonna say, first of all, thank you all for coming out this opening weekend. It really means a lot to us and matters a lot. So I just want to say thank you. But what qualifies as a super fan? Because I love SNL, but I feel like there, for anyone, there are like hills and valleys of like when you get attached to something or like who you really attach to and watch.
Right.
So I have like moments, where you like really fall in love with certain people and watch a lot.
Now you're a super fan for life, though. You can't now just ride the wave up and down.
I would say there's like a massive respect for, a newfound respect for the process and the speed. And really when you think about it, it's like, it feels sort of like easy for people to be critical about like who's funnier or like what period of time was like the best time of SNL. But the fact that 90 minutes of sketch comedy is put together in a week and delivered as finely as it is truly, truly astonishing. We had a while to make this 90-minute movie and, just like mad respect for it.
No, it is. Look, every movie's a miracle, and this one in particular, what Jason and Gil and you guys were able to achieve, it's astounding. Matt, you were raising your hand, so this is a big one. They didn't have to pay you for this job. This was a big deal.
Yeah. I mean, they paid me a fair amount.
Okay.
It was fair. Can I be heard in this? Am I projecting loud enough? No. Okay. Try Kathy's.
Yeah, let's try that.
Kathy's mic on.
Yes.
I'm in. I'm back. What was the question? Did they pay me enough money? The answer is no. No, it was great. It was an amazing job. I definitely jumped, as soon as I saw the audition come across my table. I'd gotten some comparisons to Belushi before in the past, and I'd always hoped that there would be a project that would come along, and it really was the dream kind of project, like a serious, look at this, where we really get to examine these people from maybe different angles than we'd considered before, especially Belushi. And yeah, I mean, I couldn't believe it. Once I got into the callback with Jason and saw the ice skating scene, I was like, oh, he's got a vision on this, and I want on board. So yeah.
Corey was saying just before we came downstairs that, what was it that you had on your resume for a while?
Oh, I did. For like 5 or 6 years ago, as like a gag under special skills, I had looks like John Belushi. And I took it off like pathetically, like probably like a couple years before this. But.
Amazing. It was meant to be. Okay, raise your hand on this group if you've actually been in an episode of Saturday Night Live. Oh yeah. So
You wouldn't have remembered me, but I was.
So you are the expert on this group. Does it approximate a little bit of what you experienced this movie?
I mean, I think
This was very rehearsed and choreographed, although it was rehearsed to be chaotic. Oh my gosh, we have another
Dramatic
special guest!
Happy Curtin, everybody, aka Joan Carbuncle is with us. I want to say she did this Friday night too. This is her thing now, dramatic entrances. Welcome.
I live in Manhattan.
Borough away.
Yeah, a borough away, like borough. No, I'm so sorry.
We're happy to have you whenever. Don't worry. Welcome, welcome. So sorry, Kai, you were saying.
Okay. So I think maybe the SNL that we see today is a little bit more organized than what we portray in this movie and what Jason was really trying to achieve in sort of the madness of backstage. But I still think it's chaotic. Anything that's live and put together in a week is chaotic.
So did what we see in the finished product, was that conveyed on the page or was that a conversation from Jason?
Absolutely. I was so fucking thrilled reading the script the first time. It had all the chaos and the feeling of the timing. The first time I read the script, I'd already been cast. So I was like on the edge of my seat going, what are they gonna have me doing? Like, what do I have to do here? So I think that added an extra element of terror. And then after my first read, Jason sent me the list of the cast list. And I was like, holy fuck, I've got to read it again. And yeah, I feel like Jason had a really clear vision right from the beginning. He and Gil had constructed these interviews with everyone that they could find that were there on opening night. So it was just so thoughtfully constructed. And then we had amazing people working on this film. The set deck and the costumes and the hair department, the hair. It's just, we had like, the odds were in our favor. Jason had really assembled a beautiful team.
It does feel like time travel watching this movie. It feels like you're plucked into this time and environment. I mean, I can only imagine the sets must have been remarkable. You're stepping onto a true recreation of history. Was there a small or large part of a set that really helped any of you guys with your performances that jumps out? Or just walking into it does the work?
It was interesting, like, 'cause it would kind of like move around, where we'd be, focusing on shooting. Like you said, very like 360, very immersive. My whole thing was like I would walk into like a closet and be like, I'm off the set. And it's like, oh, nope, that's like a period mop. So I'm still on the set. But like because they were like moving around, you would kind of, like chairs and Video Village would be in different places around the set too. So kind of like throughout the process, I would find myself like, wow, this corner is like really fascinating, or like this elevator bank is very cool. So it was just like a very living, breathing thing, and like week to week I would discover new amazing things about the set. I would, they should build it up and like they should make it like a haunted house, for like horror nights, for like Halloween Horror Nights or something. You can walk through the haunted 8H. It's very stressful.
It's probably also like just a good excuse as an actor to say like, oh, I'm doing research by watching Saturday Night Live. I mean, I can't think of a better thing to do as an actor. Oh, I have to watch Saturday Night Live again. Oh well. But like, what did you glean out of watching, presumably, that first episode or other episodes of the show?
Watching the first season, if any of you have Peacock, every season of Saturday Night Live is on there. And watching the first season is kind of wild because it's a very different show in its in like the production value. Like today, it's like bright colors. It's very like shiny and feels like like it's been around for a long time and they've like really concocted like high production value. It was so like grimy and dirty, and like the idea of starting it is like you want it to feel like you're on you want that like center block to feel like you're on a New York sidewalk or like corner. So watching it really felt a bit more like underground comedy club, people getting together to sort of make something pretty dirty. And so that was just like really fascinating. It sort of did help get into a different mindset with this, that like these people, like weren't afraid to be gritty and challenging to a public then. And so, that I think that helped an element for us. And knowing that they were shooting this on 16 millimeters, so it was gonna look super, super dirty like that was helpful.
And what about, for you guys playing particularly iconic people that we know and love, the line between impression and performance. You want to capture them, but you don't want to make it a shtick. So like, I don't know, how do you find that balance in terms of finding the character and also reminding folks who you're playing?
I mean, Jason was really our guide on this. I remember he sent me a text just a few days before we started shooting going, I might be pickier with you than you expect me to be. Like, there are gonna be moments where we're just gonna be trying to work out the level together. Like the level of sketch and comedy and character and behind the scenes, like off. So I have to say, for me, that was the most daunting bit of the challenge, but also kind of delightful, like a strange creative task where I had people say to me before we started shooting, oh, you're just going to be doing impressions, like what's that going to be like? And actually I found it a really creative exercise to see all of these people as performers and then to go, how does that like bleed into their personal life? Like, which of these characters comes out for them when they're just having a conversation with a friend or speaking to a makeup artist? So that was really fun for me.
I mean, it is striking for all the actors you guys are portraying, particularly Belushi. The line between the personal and the professional is so striking. Obviously, when the cameras come on, he can do anything and is this like amazing spirit. And yet, as we all know, and as your performance shows, there's real darkness there. There's real self-flagellation and anger potentially.
Yeah, I mean, in my research and like everything that I've heard about, Belushi, we're talking about, big highs and big lows, and like, and from, my own experience that I've read about in books, about cocaine and stuff, like big highs, big lows, so like in our movies.
How many books have you read about cocaine?
So many books.
A wall of cocaine books.
But our movie's happening in 90 minutes, so like sometimes you're in a low, so I thought it was a really fascinating, and like as soon as I got a chance to read the script, I thought it was such a fascinating choice of Jason and Gil to kind of like focus on one of these lows and like let him be in that kind of place in this moment, in this like really exciting moment. And it was kind of at times difficult, like, isolating, lonely work, but it felt like we were, honoring this anarchic spirit, kind of trying to find that line of like real life and performance, the performance that we love is these explosive moments. So trying to chart that in his real life, like through the performance, kind of like does that in the movie. Like the first time you see him, he blows up. And the first time you see him do a sketch, he blows up.
Right.
And then he blows up again, and at the end of the thing, he blows up, like, so what is that? Is that, is that funny? I don't know, I think the movie, like, leaves some of these questions, like, open, in a delicate way that's worth examining, it's interesting, at least.
Some of the funniest stuff, I have to say, Kathy, is you and Tommy Dewey. Unbelievable. Michael O'Donoghue.
I have to tell you that I did, when we were at TIFF, I did the red carpet with Tommy and JK, and I actually couldn't speak because they are so funny. These two people, it was beyond wicked and naughty if anybody ever gets that footage of these two on the red carpet. Like, Tommy is super funny. He is a really, really, really funny guy. Like, I didn't know him before this film, and I think he's potentially one of the funniest people on earth. And so I just bow to that kind of comedic genius, the timing, the throwing away, the ability to just stand there and not have it like, you don't feel the setup, but the setup is there. Like, I think that's, I also, I don't know about anybody else, but I feel comedy is one of the most important things that human beings have or can have. And when you meet true masters of comedy, it's really, and all of these people in this movie, I think are some of the funniest, loveliest people I've ever met. And so, I don't know, my hat goes off to them. I'm not wearing a hat because I was late, so I lost it.
She didn't have time to get into the hat to take it off. But there is this amazing symmetry. Obviously, SNL known for this launching pad with these amazing talents, and to see, I mean, again, don't blush. I'm not going to face any of you, but you guys, this is like seeing all of you in different lights and showing off what you can do, just as it was for that original SNL cast. So it's an amazing symmetrical moment, no question, but just an observation. Kai, for you, Jacqueline, what have you learned in your research about her? Obviously, there's less probably written about her than a Chevy Chase, than a Gilda Radner.
Yeah, I definitely had less, which was, in a way, I felt like so much less pressure because for a lot of people, it would be their introduction to Jacqueline. So I really, once I, auditioned and got the part and got the script, I was like, what is Jacqueline's role in this story that Jason's trying to tell? And it was really to be there and support her fiance on a very important night in his life. So getting there and being able to work with Corey and become friends with Corey the way that I have really helped that performance. And, also I think in the research that I did on Jacqueline, she had a lot of hopes and dreams of her own, and she did not see herself as, the fiance of, and I don't think Chevy saw her as the fiance of. They were very much equals. So I felt a responsibility to kind of, find that for her. Yeah.
It's also fascinating to see kind of the energy shift when the great J.K. Simmons enters.
What does he do?
I was in the bathroom, I didn't see what happened, but I heard. But to see Chevy like knocked back, like Chevy who's like can kind of go toe to toe with anyone, that must have been a special moment to go, toe to toe with the one and only J.K. Simmons.
Yeah, that was actually the scariest scene for me, and I had told Jason ahead of time because I was like, we can sort of like look at the performances of all of these people and sort of get an idea of how to, grasp their energy and try to capture that, but it's the private moments that you don't really get to see, and so I was like, I don't know what to do here. Like I don't know what Chevy Chase looks like humiliated, because we know him as this, infinitely confident, charismatic man. So it's just the antithesis. There was one interview that I watched in researching, and it was Chevy's first time on Johnny Carson. And he comes out, and you can tell he's really nervous. And Johnny asks him, asks him about his comedy special that's going to be on NBC. And he goes, "So your special's on tomorrow night?" And Chevy goes, "I do." and then Johnny just laughs in his face, and he sits there, and he he tries to laugh to himself and shake his head, and he starts flicking the desk and I was like, oh my God, that's the guy, he can't, he's I had never seen it before, and it was leading up to it, seeing that, and then having Jason on the day really just be like, you have to smile through this, the pain on your face through a smile will be more impactful. So Jason was really helpful that day, and Kaya, we became really good friends, and this, Jackie was a really important person in his life, obviously, and he now says that he really credits leaving the first season because he was so in love with her and she was living in Los Angeles, and so he quit and moved out to LA to be with her, to pursue other things, and we became really good friends quickly, and so there was something that felt really real about being humiliated in front of someone that loves you, but you can't perform in that moment.
It was so hard to not, my instinct was to just go up and stand by Corey when that was happening. And it was so hard and even more painful to sit there, but Jason was absolutely right, as he always is, in keeping us separate for that moment, although it hurt me in my heart.
From a, we kind of alluded to this, from a filmmaking standpoint, it's such an achievement too. I mean, I'm a sucker for a oneer in a film, and there's so many extended oneers in this. Is there a favorite bit of choreography that sticks out in your mind that you were able to achieve or you were a part of in one of these extended takes?
I mean, the opening was insane.
Yeah.
I was actually going to say, Matt, the scene when the lights come down and everything shatters and Belushi throws a punch, that day, I just had anticipated that we would be having to like hike ourselves up and get our adrenaline up, imagining these things happening. But no, there was like flames and fireworks and punches being thrown and lights falling, and you hear so much of me shrieking in that scene, and it's Ella shrieking, it's not Gilda. That was amazing, and that was one of those moments of like, the film was coming alive before our eyes. Like that didn't need any editing. That was just like that. And you said that day was really intense for you, right?
Yeah, I had no idea what that day was going to be like. 'Cause that was our first day. I mean, our first day of shooting was the ice skating scene, which is bizarre. That was like that was my very first day on the movie.
Mine too.
But
Actually, you should tell that story.
okay. Well, should I
Well,
tell
that
that one
night was
instead
kind
of?
of crazy.
I guess that was like a crazy shot. But like that was my first day of shooting, was the ice skating scene, and I did take a little trip in the ambulance to the ER. But we got almost everything. So the fall that you see in the movie, when you go watch it on Netflix, when you go back and forth, that you'll see my little head bounce back up once it hits the ice.
Wait, they used the take where you actually like got a concussion?
Thank God they did.
use it.
Like,
Yeah, exactly.
at least use
Yeah.
the take. I'm like stood watching it happen, and Gabe runs down as Lorne, still in character, doesn't realize that Matt's hit his head.
Yeah, we're trying to do the scene.
And Matt, kind of as Belushi, goes, I think I hit my head. And Gabe goes, kind of as Lorne, kind of as Gabe, yeah, I can see it. It's rising. And then, like, before our very eyes, this lump is
Oh
coming
yeah,
up
it was
on Matt's
massive.
head.
There's some cool pictures. Hopefully we can post
The
them
pictures
soon.
are amazing.
But that was a really wild first day to the set, and then I had maybe a few days to recover from that. And then there we were on set in Atlanta, and the whole thing is about this lighting rig falling and us being upset about that happening. So it was an insane meta, very, it was very real, and it was very easy to be like, this is real. And, as fine as that was, what happened on the ice skating, these things happen. But it's from the point of view of an actor on a set, it's like, yeah, I am pissed off. And it was very easy to lock into that feeling and lock into John's just not trusting the medium, not trusting any of these crew people because they don't trust him and his art, not trusting Lorne, a big thing, just to say one of the things that defines that opening moment for me too, kind of changing subject, is one of John's, in his first meeting with Lorne, he said to him, my television's covered in spit, just to kind of explain how he felt about TV as a medium. So that was, and Jason and me worked a lot in mantras. That was one of the mantras into scenes that we'd work on, be like, that's the kind of vibe of this scene. Sometimes the mantra would be, he's got a gun, That was a great mantra to work on. So little things like that, not to change the subject too much. But.
No, it's all amazing. Okay, who here feels most ready to join the cast of SNL and or host an episode of SNL? Obviously you guys are all ready by the silence I'm hearing. Just more fun to play the actual characters than to be a part of SNL?
I did a tape in 2014. Yeah, didn't go for. Yeah, I did.
So did Lamorne, I want to say.
Yeah, well, Lamorne definitely did. Yeah, Lamorne probably got farther than me.
This
but.
has given me such admiration for everybody who's a part of SNL, but my terror resides. Comedy is scary. I feel so lucky that I got to stand beside people that were really, really good at it, and if in doubt, I'd turn to Lamorne and be like, Lamorne, you got any funny ideas?
Hey, you are really, really good at it.
I'm not trying to get. Sorry.
You all took care of each other. You're all amazing in this. I said it before, this movie is kind of a miracle. Every movie is, but the fact that you guys brought these characters we know so well to life, unbelievable. The filmmaking, everything about it. Congratulations on it. Thank you for celebrating this opening weekend of Saturday night with this amazing crowd. Thank you guys for coming out.
Thank you all for being here. Thank you so much.
Spread the good word. Saturday night, it's out in theaters.